Um, Hello and welcome to the Beauty and the Beast retelling vlog. I was gonna do a thing like my TBR where I show you all my retellings, or at least all my Beauty and the Beast retellings that I own, but like then I remembered I have one. It was okay. But I have read a good chunk, and in April I'm just reading a bunch of retellings other than Nat Gelly books. Those ones are excused, but otherwise I'm only reading retellings. And I have a lot of Beauty and the Beast ones on my TBR, so of course I chose the 3 most obscure ones I could find on my TBR. Yeah, I'm filming this like really early in the month, like it's the 2nd of the month, like, but I didn't. I mean, I was like, might as well get ahead, and then I had to each choose a random one, with random number type thing, right? Like I usually do. So I'm gonna go off like on the list that I have on my whiteboard, but I'm gonna do it straight down because she chose the 3rd one, of course. The first one is of Beauty and Beast. Which is the one, I don't know much about it. I'm going to go into this saying this is going to be a really short intro because I don't know much about any of them. So have fun with that knowledge. But basically that one is the one where I think it's like forced marriage or something like that. And the prince or king or whatever, his kingdom is called like Based or something, like Beast. But I think it goes B-A-I-S-T. Yeah, I don't really know much other than that. From when I read the synopsis like a week and a half ago for the TBR. But yeah, that one's the one that I'm moderately excited for. What I'm really excited for, oddly enough, is The Beast by Jenica Snow. I know the author. I think it's under 200 pages, and it is basically monster smut. But, and hear me out, there's no way it can be worse than A Soul to Keep. So like, it's fine. Fine. Also, we love how I'm gonna read smut and it's not gonna be for the podcast. Love that for me. Could I totally be reading the Katie Robert Beauty and the Beast one from the Wicked Villain series? I mean, I have Wicked Villains up here. Yes, but I'm gonna be reading those for the podcast, and you know, it's fine. I could be reading any of the other Beauty and the Beast ones on my TV, but it's fine. And then the one I'm most scared for is the one that H chose is the Beauty and the Beast. It's the modern one. I don't remember much from the synopsis, but what I do remember is the main male character in it giving me the same vibe that the guys in the LJ Shen and the Ivy Smoke a little bit, but mostly in the LJ Shen I read in that vlog where I retried authors that I rated 1 or 2 stars previously, that I DNF'd. Like, I barely read the synopsis and all this stuff. I barely know anything, but I haven't even started it. I haven't picked it up. But, like, he gives me the vibe. And that is, like, one thing I really don't like in romances, okay? Especially in, like, bully romances and type of things. I don't know if it's a bully romance, but, like, in those types of books, I really have to like the main male character most of the time. I have to at least moderately like him for me to have a good time with a romance, right? So, and just looking at the synopsis, I'm getting the vibe. I'm not gonna like him. So, be prepared for me to DNF it. It may be a thing that happens. I own this one and the first one, free from Amazon, I think. And then The Beast, I got from Kindle Unlimited. So I have all of them on my Kindle already, which is great. If anything last month taught me, it's to pre-download all your books on your Kindle in case the power goes out for 56 hours. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, that's what's happening. I'm gonna start that book today. I'm gonna try to get 100 pages in. We'll see. And that's kind of it. I'll update you tomorrow with any thoughts, and whatnot. I hope it's good, but I wouldn't be surprised if I DNF it, right? That's what's gonna happen. But yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hello, welcome to the Unhaul Corner. Forgot that this was this corner. We're gonna ignore the look, okay? I need this look for emotional support for this book. This is one of the moments where I should say, if you don't follow me in Goodreads, go to my Goodreads, please. Because, like, I took highlights of this book to just further prove how much this book sucked. Oh my god. So basically, I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna tell you what the synopsis is, and then I'm gonna tell you a joke I made, and then I'm gonna tell you my main issues and my rating, and then
I was sending a lot of very funny voice messages to H last night about this book, and I screen recorded one of them, gives you the whole timeline. So that's what I'll end it with. So basically, the synopsis says, that he is like a Marine, ex-Marine, right? It doesn't say in the synopsis, but he's like really badly injured, and whatnot. He like blew himself up. Basically, you know that scene in the first Captain America movie where they throw the fake grenade and he jumps on it? That, but it was a real grenade. So he's like had like over 40 skin graft surgeries, I'm pretty sure. One eye is like completely fucked up. And I think one ear as well. One side of his face just doesn't move properly. A bunch of other stuff. And he has viewed himself as ugly now, all this stuff. He's the beast, right? So basically, according to the synopsis, he needs to go to this Marine ball that the president invited him to because he is the youngest ever winner of this honorary medal, right? And so he has to have a date to this ball, and he doesn't have someone. But then he meets Issa, I think. Issa? It's like Isabella, so Issa, who is like an angel, and gorgeous and beautiful. She's a dancer, so like, and she meets Bunny and stuff, and so he agrees to let her dad write his memoir, write his war memoir, and then, if she'll go to the ball with him, to the Marine ball with him, right? Around 80% through. This is a short book. It's under 200 pages. And I swear if it was any longer, I would have DNF'd it. But by the point where I was being like, what the fuck am I reading? I was already too far in. I was like, I might as well finish it. And then eventually got to the point where I was like, what the fuck am I reading? But in like, it's so bad, I can't stop but laugh type of way. Like, literally, if you listen to any of the voice messages I sent H at that point, I was just laughing the whole time. Oh my god, I could tell you so many of them. So many of them. But around 80% through, I was like, wait a second, where's the Marine ball that I was promised? I'll go into like what actually happens in a second, but like, where was the Marine ball I was promised? And then I was like, the only Marine balls I've seen are his. It was H's request that I put that joke in here. You can go yell at H for that. But basically, it starts the night of a costume party. A bunch of superhero stuff that I yelled about for like 5 minutes, blah, 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 not important. And he's the Hulk, she's Black Widow. This is like, came out in 2016, so like a year after Age of Ultron, so like, makes sense. They hit up at the party, but someone sets off fireworks, which makes him have a trigger, PTSD, good times. So, he just starts to leave and whatnot, and he was gonna ask her out, but she like starts following him, and she's like, hey, like, you okay? She is getting her degree in psychology, but also her mother, something we know but he doesn't know, is that her mother committed suicide. So she wants to make sure he's okay because she doesn't want to like ignore the signs of someone being in that type of mindset again. So she tries to make sure he's okay. Initially tries to make it so they go to a public place to like talk it out, but he like makes her go to his apartment. And then he's like instantly like, hey, the only way they'll make me feel better is if I have sex with you. A lot of this book is just him being crass for no fucking reason. Also, his mood swing, crazy. It's a wild ride. But I would like you know it's very important that he can get any porn star. They just don't want to stay with him. Right? So he's like really into her. He finds her really hot. And all this stuff. For some reason, he thinks the way to get her to stay with him, and be his girlfriend is if he has sex with her, which, like, I get he's good at sex, blah, 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 but, like, his issue is that all the girls just want to have sex with him and then move on. So his solution, instead of finding a girl who he connects with and then having sex with her afterward, like, not have sex with her instantly, he does. She goes to leave because she notices what's happening. She's like, yeah, I'm not that type of girl. Bye. And then he blocks her in and then strips her down, and then they do it, a bunch of times. It's not, yeah. Yeah. A bunch of stuff happens. Basically, her dad stole her money. She, got all her money from being a reality star on a Dancing with the Stars, but not Dancing with the Stars, because I'm pretty sure that's copyrighted, right? And all this stuff when she was a teenager, and then her mom died, so she left the show, and she's been using the money to go to college. She's about to go for her last semester, but then, the money doesn't go through, and she's like, what the fuck? So she goes to the bank, and the bank's like, hey, it was taken out at this location. Turns out her dad stole all her money, and instead of going to the police, like, even her best friend's like, no, go to the police. You don't have to, like, protect this man. This man's job is to protect you. What the fuck? And so now she's, like, has to go, it's, like, been, like, a few days or something like that. I don't know. And go to Grady, that's his name, Grady's, and be like, hey, write my dad's, or have my dad write your war memoir, and that way, I can have my money. And he's like, dude, what the fuck? But then he's like, yes, but only if you go to this ball with me. And she's like, cool. And then he's also like, but also, I own you during that whole entire time, which means I can have sex with you whenever I want. And I went, I'm sorry, what? And that does not make her, like, suspicious at all. They bang. There's also this whole thing where she steals the bullet out of his gun at one point. And he does go to commit suicide. It's this whole thing. I'm gonna fast forward a bunch. They end up at a lodge together for, like, a week to, like, build their emotional connection so that when they go to the ball, it's not, like, obvious that they're fake dating. Right? How much does the fake dating have to do with this book? 0%. Nothing. So they get there. Eventually, they agree to actually be real dating. They bang a bunch. And all this fun stuff. It's not important. Literally, none of it's important. Except, at one point, she gets him, after berating him constantly, to tell her about his time in, I think it was Iraq, that was the explosion, and why he is like this and all this stuff, right? And she's like, okay, and then they bang. And then I can't not laugh at it. Okay, it's just so dumb. And then they go back to the lodge. I'm pretty sure, I don't know. Listen, let's be real. I skipped most of the sex scenes. I was like, cool, sex. Oh, I love you. Cool, sex. Skip it. No. It was not good. It was not good. Then they're talking, and he's like, hey, I told you something deep about myself. Why don't you tell me about your mother? And she's, like, very standoffish about it. It's assumed in the tabloids, because, like, she was a celebrity at this point, that, her mother was murdered, because it was with a gun, and all this stuff. And no one knows, like, the real reason why, and all this stuff. And so, he's like, what happened to your mother? Who did it? Blah, 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 blah. But she won't say anything. So then he's like, well, maybe if I give her more of my trauma, she'll give me some of hers. So then he tells her that it was a good thing she stole his bullet because he was going to kill herself the next day. And she went, shit, dude. Well, my mom killed herself with a gun, and that's why I did it. And then he goes, and I quote, man, I'm sorry. And then they bang. Again. And then she says, I love you. And then it comes to the next day. At which point, honestly, not mad about this. She initially was gonna start freaking out about the fact that he didn't say it back and all this stuff, but then she was like, no, he just agreed to be my girl, like, to actually be a couple. So, like, he's not ready for that. Next step, it's fine. I'm just there before he is. It's fine. And his idea to take her on a date is to a shooting range the day after she tells him that she doesn't like guns because her mom killed herself with a gun. I can't make this up. I can't. I have to laugh because it's so bad. Yeah. So basically, he's like, she's holding, I think it's a Glock. I don't fucking know. Also, I'd like to note that she took the bullet out of the gun, but, like, there's the clip as well, and she didn't do that. So, like, there were more. He just had to, right? I have a hunting license. I know a little bit about guns. I don't. Right? anyways, so he's like behind her. It's supposed to be like this whole hot scene about how like they're trauma bonding with each other because like she's gotta shoot the target with the gun, to push through her trauma, but she's also sobbing at the same time. And then she does shoot the gun. And then someone leaked information to the press about them fake dating, and said that she finds him ugly, which, despite the fact that she has told him multiple times that she does not find him ugly and likes his scars, because it shows how strong he is. And so then he freaks out on her, kicks her out. Right, and then she gets her job on the show again, and he goes to rehab, and then there's like a whole thing where he's an alcoholic like her dad, but he's also suicidal and tries to kill himself with a gun in, and he's super depressed like her mom, and she sees both of them in him. That's not normal. It's right. And so cuts to like a month later. They get back together. And then they go to the ball, and then he proposes. That's it. That's the whole book. 90% of it, not really 90% of it, but like a good chunk of it was sex scenes, and I skipped almost every single one except for the one in the very beginning because, God, they were all the same, and they weren't good. Okay? There was like one slight difference one time where they did it in a bathtub. Like, that's it. Anyways, it wasn't good. And then I was trying to figure out what to rate it. Right? And I was between 2 and 1.5. And then I was talking to Age about it. I was like, well, I'm gonna go with 2, because like I rarely rate things below 2 stars unless if it's really offensive. And then I was like, wait a second, the whole entire book is just him getting over his trauma and fighting his PTSD and his mental health. It's just banging this woman like every day. Like literally at one point he says that the only thing that makes him better is having sex with her. That is the whole entire book. Just him healing with vagina. And I'm not here for it. And then I was like, that is offensive, hot take. So then I decided 1.5 stars. I'm not gonna continue the series because it's like a whole series. There's 5 of them. I'm not here for it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't like it. But yeah. Do you actually need the voice message of me doing the whole timeline? No, but I'm still gonna put it up after this clip, so that's fine. But yeah, that's it. I rated 1.5 stars. It was bad. Don't read it. I don't know which one I'm gonna do next. I was gonna do The Beast in the Middle, but I think, what is it? Of the Beast? Is that the other one? The one where he is a prince of a kingdom. That's all I know. Of the kingdom based. That one I think is the one I'm gonna do next, but I don't know, and I don't know when I'm gonna read it because I have other reading plans for today, but like also I'm like super ahead, so it's fine. And yes, I did also realize my buddy read with H this month is also a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which is I could totally also make this a 5-book vlog with the books I already have planned this month. We're not doing that. It's fine. This is already gonna be long enough without it. But yeah, that's it for this clip. I'll talk to you whenever. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say, so like cue that voice message.
It ends with him proposing and her saying yes. They've known each other. They hooked up at a party. And then a week later, they make the deal. And then a week later, they're at the cabin for a week. But he kicks her out halfway through. And then he's at rehab for a month. And then they get back together for like a day and a half. And he proposes. I think it broke me. I think it broke me. What the fuck?
Hello. I've gotten somewhere with The Beast, and so here we are. I'm going through it. If you couldn't tell from this, it's whatever. We're just gonna ignore it, and we're gonna talk about The Beast. I did that thing where I had H choose a random number each one, like matching a book, and then based on that, I choose what like, she chooses which book I read, right? I did that again. I think that's like the 3rd time this month I've done that. And honestly, I should stop making Legendborn 3 because H keeps on choosing 2, which means I'm reading The Beast. I think I'm like 15% into it. It's short. It's like under 130 pages. Like, I think my copy's 117. Like, it's really, really short. But like, it's already gone until like all the setup. She just arrived at the castle where I'm at, so I can like tell you about the book. The way I just remembered her father's name, Maurice, it is very similar to the original, right? Well, the Disney version, so in some ways. So basically, the Beast has seen Belle around. He hides in the shadows of the village, behind the village or whatever, and watches her. He's really into her. He knows all about her. And so he's come up with a plan to make her his, and that way he can be with her, in all the debauchery ways. And it kind of like mentions at the beginning that she becomes into it, right? So, basically, Maurice, her father, is a gambler, and has lost all their money. She works as a seamstress, and she's been working really hard to like make it so they have enough money to like even give the people he owes a little bit of something and still eat. But they won't take it anymore. They basically want all the money, or else he dies. They kill her father. Which she does not know. She's like really trying her hardest while he's gambling more money away. Turns out the person he's gambling his money away to is Gaston. So the Beast knows this, and he sends one of his people. He has like some people working at the castle, and he sends one of them to make this whole deal where he will pay off Maurice's debt, plus some to Gaston to make Gaston happy, and the repayment is Belle. So he like has the man go do this, blah blah blah, and according to Maurice, he agreed to the terms without knowing what he was gonna give up, which was her. She is rightfully upset about this whole thing, and he's like, like, he's more like, the way it seems is that he's super upset about it, but like still keeps on saying, what else was I supposed to do? And both me and the Beast are like, not have gambled all your money away. God, some help. You know, good times. So she is sent to the castle, basically. Where I'm at, she just arrived. She's getting shown her rooms, and she's like, I have actual rooms. She's really expecting to be a prisoner. There's a candlestick looking man. So I assume like the pieces of furniture and whatnot are gonna like actually be here, but I like as actual people, because there's actually people who work at the castle. There's few, but there's like people who actually work at the castle. And the Beast wants her to fall for him too, so that they can have a relationship and all this stuff. I don't know if he's like an actual beast or if he's a man who's just really big and hairy. I don't know. But it said that he's like the size of 3 men, but also she hasn't seen him yet. So I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to read that all today. It's a really quick book, and then I'll read the 3rd book starting tomorrow probably. Because tomorrow's writing spring, so I have less time tomorrow to read. So I'll start the last book for this vlog. Then, I'll still be ahead of schedule. Woo! But yeah. Okay, well, it's the same day. I changed. And I was about to say I just read the Hunger Games. That's a lie. I'm gonna watch the Hunger Games tonight. No, I read The Beast. It's like really short. It took me under 2 hours. And then when I was putting it in my tracker, I saw that it has a sequel with Red Riding Hood. And I'm assuming the Big Bad Wolf. Totally gonna read it. And then I found another one by her that I think is gonna be more my speed. But that being said, The Beast, 3 stars. So why would I read more? I don't know. They're really short. So like, yeah. And also, I'm trying to think of what to even say about this book. I mean, it's 117 pages and half of it is smut. Okay? And that's just the end stuff. She quickly gets used to him, has a thing for him. He definitely has a thing for her.
rub someone out, watching our feet birds. Normal things. Nodding is a thing. That was like my biggest thing where I was like, I don't want to be here for this. Thanks, bye. But you know, whatever. Also, he has a tail and he uses it. He even inserts it, and I'm like, is she gonna like, how clean is his tail? Cause like, you know, but yeah. Also, they do it in the snow, which on the ground in a forest, which doesn't really help much in the same vein, like, right? Anyways, yeah. The smut aside, I do think they make a cute couple type thing, despite the fact that he never gave her a piggyback ride, therefore F tier. That is a joke about how almost every single romance I've read this year, especially smutty romance, includes a piggyback ride at least once. But basically, she is always having to take care of her father. That's basically been her whole entire life, taking care of her father. And so then comes this beast who like does all this stuff to get her, but basically as soon as he has her, he is very protective and caring in his nature. So he does anything to help her out. Like when he was watching her beforehand, and he noticed that she likes to read romance books, so he made sure to buy like every romance book he could get his hands on so that she had plenty to read. And he's like, if you ever want like anything else, let me know. And all this stuff. And he's very caring in that way. Totally, if it was up to him, would have killed her father at one point. But because he knows that she loves her father despite all the shit he's put her through, he helps him out and all this stuff. So basically, she's someone who's never been cared for, and he is the type of person whose love language is caring for the other person. So, like, doing things for the other person. I mean, it even shows itself in the smutty scenes, like the aftermath, like, you know, good times. So making sure, like, to hold her and clean her up and all that fun stuff. Fun times. So, like, I could see how it could work out, in theory. And yeah, I thought all... I mean, it's 3 stars. I'm moving on with my life. I'll read, is it Of the Beast? Is that the name of it? I can't see the whiteboard from here. No, I'm gonna read that one soon. I may start it today, but I don't think I'll get far enough to really update you until Tuesday. So, that's the current plan. Anyways, I'm gonna go watch YouTube and maybe start it, and then watch a lot of Hunger Games, because I'm me. So, yeah, fun times. At least it's a short update.
Well, it's here. I'm actually updating you when I said I would. God, I love it so much. No, really, that's so annoying. Oh my. I'm just gonna ignore it, because what the fuck? It's because it's in the afternoon, so there's more sun. That's why, I know. But I finished it. And I totally could wait to update you and all this stuff. Because I got time. But like, I feel cute today, so you get to see me, okay? So yeah, I purposely made sure I finished the book today. Which was Of Beast and Beauty. That's what it's called. You know, yeah, that's my general reaction. Just, oddly enough, when I was doing my tracker stuff, right, for reading and whatnot, for wrap-ups, because it just makes wrap-ups easier, I learned that in middle school, I read one of the author's previous works, and the only reason I remember it was in middle school is because I was waiting for, the rock climbing, everyone else from the rock climbing team to show up for rock climbing, which I did when I was in middle school because I was still under 100 pounds. I remember this because the only people I was able to belay, because I was so freaking tiny still, is one of the teachers' kids who was in elementary school. Because I didn't reach 100 pounds until I was 9th grade. Hell yeah. And that's the only reason I remember. I remember reading it on my iPad that schools gave us. Yeah, on the Books app, because we weren't allowed to download like any apps on the iPad, which is weird. God, this is annoying. And so I just used, like, there was no purpose for it, so I just used it to read. It was great for classes because I could just be like, I'm done with my schoolwork, and then they'd be like, cool, and I'd be like, can I read on my iPad? They were like, sure, why not? And then I just read fanfiction on my iPad. That's how I used mine. Anyways, this book that I read, I say I finished it. I mean, I read the whole entire thing. I haven't updated you since I started it. Here's the thing. The first 60-ish%, maybe 70%, I really love this book. But then, and then, it just went so downhill. Basically, Rose, I think her name's Rosaline, but she goes by Rose for most of the book. She is the adopted daughter, of the queen, not the Queen of Evil, Mistress Evil or something like that, who is an evil sorceress. There's like a bunch of stuff from her past where the kings of the Seven Kingdoms, betrayed her in some way, and so now she will use her power to destroy them, and she does this whole plan to sell off Rosaline to marry the prince of this one kingdom, the Kingdom of Beast. So it's like a loveless marriage. He was supposed to marry a different woman that day, and so he like just assumes she's an ugly hag and who will use magic on him and kill him or any of this stuff. So he literally emotionally and low-key physically abuses her, locks her up in her room, makes it so no servants will like go see her or give her anything, which means she doesn't have clothes. And also because like all the clothes that are in her room are the clothes for the girl that he was supposed to marry that same day, but she's like shorter than her and much smaller, so like they don't fit her. And then no one will bring her food, so she's just starving to death. So then she just sneaks away and pretends to be someone else. She spends a good like 50% of the book switching between being the princess and being the servant, and because like he never saw her face veil, so she goes to the celebration that she was refused to go to, like she wasn't allowed to go to, so that she could eat food because she was starving to death. And then he makes out with her. There's like this whole thing where they're flirting, and she's all like, I don't know how I feel about making out with a guy on my wedding day, but like he won't even look at me, so like it's fine. And then she learns that no, this is Xander the prince, which means her husband cheated on her with her. God, the chaos of it. It was a good time. I don't know if I'm doing good at explaining it, but I was having a good time, okay? So while this is happening, basically, everyone just assumes she's evil, because she has magic and all this stuff. It's a lot of stuff about prejudice and how people treat her based off of this prejudice. And there's this whole thing where I don't like books where, especially YA books, it's an issue I've seen, where other characters treat, usually the main character, poorly, for no foreseeable reason. And like I low-key get why, like, not even the side characters, just like characters that are actually characters who are really mean to her all the time, because they just assumed, based off of everything the king has said about her adoptive mother, that witches are evil, and so she is going to like kill them all or something like that. Right? So they're really mean to her, and then the prince is the one that's like kind of like the real issue I have with, where he's like really mean to her for like no fucking reason, but like you understand why, right? Like the whole entire marriage that he was supposed to have was to like get it so that the kingdom could have an army to defeat this other country that is trying to kill them for this war, right? And all this stuff. And so because of not marrying her and marrying Rosaline instead, like all this is messed up, right? So it kind of makes sense. But he literally makes it so she can't leave. He complains that his new wife requested new dresses, and like no seamstresses. He won't let actual like professionals come help her with any of this. So she had like one servant girl who brought her breakfast, who like she low-key befriended, who was like, hey, I can like sew a little bit. So they like scrounged together her dresses from beforehand to make like dresses that she could actually wear as a princess. And then he has one of his knights destroy all her outfits at one point, like all her shit at one point. And then he's all like, oh, I'll buy you more. And then he doesn't. So then she has to go out and get more on her own. And then he's like, how dare you? And she's like, you weren't doing any of the stuff. Like, you keep on making promises and that not, like, acting on them. So I just did it on my own. A hot take. And then he gets mad at her. That's, like, my main issue throughout the book. Which is why it was going to be a 4-star until, like, the last 40% happened. Was that the way the prince was that he would say or do something and then act an opposite way. Like, eventually he realized that him ignoring and basically mistreating his wife from the first second without giving her a chance, maybe not the smartest thing to do. And then he assumes that she's going to kill him anyway, so then he like there's multiple times where she's like injured and he like grips onto her super hard on the injured part of her, not in like anger and not realizing that he's harming her, like multiple times. I mean, their wedding night he accidentally cuts her and he's just like, oh, later on when he realizes, right, and all this stuff. And then also at the same time he's falling in love with the servant Rose, which is actually her, and she's just like, the fudge. Eventually he does realize at an early point-ish that Rose is actually Rosaline, they're the same person. And around 56% is around the time when he mentioned, hey, I know you're you, and that's when I started to like it. Or around the point where I stopped liking it, right? Is this making sense? I don't know. Because that's when it went more into like the beast stuff. There's like a beast terrorizing people, eating people, all this stuff. But there's two beasts. There's like the original beast, who's really kind and saves her life at one point and all this stuff, and then there's like the evil beast. I don't think it's a spoiler to say the prince is one of the beasts, right? She figures it out pretty early on, all this stuff, but there's like a bunch of mystery stuff going on. I guessed every single plot twist except for one, which I don't know how I would have been able to guess that one. That one was so out of left field. But the real question is, when did they bang? This is actually an issue I have, because he never once noted that he liked her. He like obviously found her attractive because when after he saw her face for the first time, well, one, he was in love with the servant Rose, but also when after he finally sees her face for the first time for real, he's all like ready to kiss her, and she's like, I guess there was like a night where like she went to protect him from the beast because she sensed the beast coming because she has like death magic, right? And so she went to defeat the beast, and he's like, well, there's no beast here, blah 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 blah, and takes her to a stable to like help her because like using too much magic hurts her, and then they end up sleeping next to each other, and I guess they bang then. I don't know. I think it was cut out because at the end of the book she's pregnant, and I'm like, when did this happen? Also, romance not deserved. The romance plotline can go stop it. The whole entire plotline of her trying to find her place in this kingdom with people who deeply hate her for no given reason was interesting to me. Like, that whole section was so interesting. And then that happened, and I was like, also, he has some anger management issues. I mean, I guess you'd expect that from that beast. But like the amount of times that he grips onto her very injured hand multiple times, and he's all like, doesn't recognize that he's harming her. At one point she's shot through the shoulder, and he gets upset because she says hi to someone or something, and he like grips her on that elbow and like yanks her away for like a few feet, and she has to like scream at him in pain because like she's like her wounds reopened and all this stuff, and he's like, oh, sorry. And that wasn't even the first time. Okay. And then there was like a time when he actually invited her to have dinner with him. I know, amazing. And she like was talking about the beast and how the beast must be a shapeshifter, and he got really angry that she would bring this up, and she's like, listen, you didn't tell me not to tell people this, so how am I supposed to know what I'm not allowed to say because you don't tell me anything, which is a thing throughout the whole entire book. So yeah, that it was a book. The first like 60% was totally 4 stars. But once the romance kicked into more high gear, and then also all the plot stuff was coming to a climax, my interest instantly declined. Like, as soon as like we figured out who the evil beast was, I was like, cool. And then it just became crap. And I was like, I'm not having a good time anymore. So I was contemplating giving it a 3.5, but it was just so meh. And I was so disappointed by the end that I'm giving 3 stars. It was okay, I guess. And that's that for this vlog. I love that for me. Anyways, I got other things I have to do probably. I mean, it was so close to being so good. I will say it's like 7 books in the series. All of them retellings, following the sisters of the adoptive daughters of the Mistress Evil Lady. And the next one I'm pretty sure is Cinderella, and I will read it at some point. Like, I am intrigued. Okay, the first percentage was like good enough where I actually want to continue. I don't care if it was like really bad at the end. So yeah, that's that. I don't really have anything else to say. Linked below is my link tree where it has everything included in the podcast and a bunch of other stuff. If you want to hear me go into depth at some point about A Curse So Dark and Lonely, a different Beauty and the Beast retelling that I read, I will be doing that for the podcast at some point. And I don't think I have anything up above in the cards. The next video, of course, is going to be a read with me, but the next vlog will be the Arthurian one, where I read 5 Arthurians retellings. Spoiler, I've already read one, and it's an interesting time. I'm gonna go start the next one, so like, I'm excited. But yeah, that's it. That's all I've got to talk about now. I love how these books were all mediocre, which is kind of how every Beauty and the Beast retelling I've read has kind of been, now that I think about it. Yeah, that's sad. Anyways, I'm gonna go be cute downstairs now, I guess, and I will see you in the next video.